Yes, recap video, so you who weren't here can see the great time we had together.
There's two kingdoms, but they're not the same. There's only one king who will never change. There's a kingdom of lies, fear and shame, and a kingdom of truth where Jesus reigns. Kingdom keepers make a sound. The King of Kings, he has been crowned. We'll stand for truth, we'll stand this day, 'cause Jesus is the only way. There's two kingdoms, what will you choose? The Spirit of God is calling you to make a stand for what is right, in the armor of God, turning darkness to light. Kingdom keepers make a sound. The King of Kings, he has been crowned. Stand for truth, we'll stand this day, 'cause Jesus is the only way. Stand strong in the battle for truth, word of God. It won't be moved, putting on the armor of God. This generation won't be lost. Kingdom keepers make a sound. The King of Kings, he has been crowned. We stand for truth, we'll stand this day, 'cause Jesus is the only way. Kingdom keepers make a sound. The King of Kings, he has been crowned. We stand for truth, we'll stand this day, 'cause Jesus is the only way.
Been a tiring week, but it was a good week, and a lot of rewards for it, a lot of encouragement, blessing. Lord sent rains. I had to make adjustments at times. Couldn't send all the kids out. Some supposed to be out playing. They had to come in and do some things inside, so it made a little extra noisy. But that was fine, and the Lord knows what He's doing, and it worked out well. And we do want to say thank you to all those who helped, participated, taught, worked with kids, did crafts, whatever it is. We thank the Lord for you, and I know the parents are very appreciative for all your sharing the God's Word with them, not only by teaching, but also by example, and we thank God for it. And it was a good week of Vacation Bible School, and the best night of it all was Friday night, because it's the last night. And everybody was, but it was a hard week, especially when you've worked all day. And we appreciate you taking time out and working all day, still coming and still giving, and we appreciate that so very, very much. Especially want to say thank you to Lisa Simmons, who sort of was overseer of this thing, directing of it. We appreciate all the work and effort she did in helping with that and getting it done. And I'm, as I said, for a number of years now, this is the first church I've ever been in where I don't have to do everything, especially in Vacation Bible School. They take it, they run with it. That's their thing to do. I just want to just give a little oversight, answer questions if they have it. So along with that, I want to let you not only give thanks to everybody, but we also want to let you know if there's things out of place, we don't care. I'm just being honest with you. We really don't care right now. After all this week, we try to get everything back best we could, back where it should be. So if it's not in place or if it's a little different than normal, that's okay. And you just adjust with us and go with us. And then if you were here and worked and served and it's out of place, you have the right to complain. If you weren't here, you didn't work, you didn't serve, we don't want to hear it. We just want to tell you we appreciate you. And again, things may be a little out of place. You may be saying, well, I can't find so-and-so. Well, let us know. We'll try to see if we can help you find that. I also wanted to let you know a few things that are in the bulletin. There's a number of announcements real quickly. There's an address in the bulletin that's not complete, okay? It was complete at the time we gave it, but then Christy, my daughter Christy, got something from Hayden, my grandson, with a more complete address. So I'll give it to you quickly. It's very simple. And then if you need more than that, you just see me after service or see Christy and Jeff after the service. It's Patrick Hayden M. Has to have the middle initial from Michael. He's got my name. Then Bravo Company 787th, MPBN, 1st Platoon, 1st PLT, 1st Platoon, PLT. Then it's 7624 Loyalty Loop, Building 937, Fort Leonard Wood, Missouri, 65473. That's all correct. Then on the back of the envelope, they've asked that you put like number 1. That's because he's in the 1st platoon. That helps them in distribution of mail, makes it easier on them. So if you do Patrick Hayden M, add the 1st platoon after the MPBN, and then on the back of the envelope, put a number 1, and they'll know it goes to that. That'll assist that. That's basically the way it is. If you need more information about it, then talk to us later, and we'll be glad to get it to you. And he'll appreciate any letters that he gets. I know he will. We want to mention to you in the bulletin also that Brian and Andrea Schultz, right down here, that they've invited everybody to a July 4th party on July 3rd. They like to get started early. So on July 3rd, Monday, July 3rd at their house, and they have a potluck that they do every year. They're inviting you to come to that. Approximately between 6:30 and 7, bring something to eat, and they'll share time together, and then as soon as it gets dark, they'll start some fireworks, and their address is in the bulletin. So you're invited to participate in that, okay? All right, let me see. We want to thank attention to the ladies. There's a note in the bottom of the bulletin, the ladies' conference happening on July 7th and 8th. And a number of our ladies have already signed up and registered, and they're going to be attending. If you'd like to be part of that, there may still be some openings. We can see what we can do about getting you involved with that. And Susan Heck is going to be the speaker, and she's a heck of a good speaker. All right, then we also want to mention to you next Friday is the last Friday of the month, and there'll be downtown Plant City. God willing, rain holds off. Downtown Plant City, and they'll be able to share the gospel and pass out tracts and get to meet people and do that next Friday at 6:15 out by the wall mural in downtown Plant City. And if you got any questions, you can see Vic Amuso or Mark Murphy, and they'll help you with that. And then the other thing, we've invited to hang around after church. Teddy's, he's over there. But his birthday was this past week, his first birthday, number 1, all right? And they're going to have a little get-together in the fellowship hall, and you're invited to go over and celebrate with them. Doesn't matter if you brought anything or not. Teddy may not like it because he's already griping about it, but it doesn't matter at all. So we're going to celebrate Teddy's first birthday, okay? So we invite all of you to stay after church for that. All right, let me see. Before I do prayer requests, I do want to mention to you, if you want interested, I don't do this enough. I guess I need to do it more often. If you want to unite with our church, best way to do that, even with the profession of faith, we'd like to be able to sit down, Fred and I, and talk with you, get an input from you. We have a membership application you can fill out, then get some input from you. And hear your testimony if you've already a believer. If you're not, hear your testimony about the salvation God's wrought in your heart, and talk to you about the further steps that you need to do to become a member of our church. So that's available to you at any time. Just let us know. We'll be glad to work with you in that area. All right, we do want to tell one other announcement. A church in our area was having some money's financially real tight, and they've had their air conditioning go out in their fellowship hall. Vacation Bible School is coming up. And so our church, I talked with Fred, talked with several of the men, the ladies during the week, and told them we're going to send that church $1,000 from our church to assist them in their little help them a little bit. So we also sent them some other people to contact for bids that might be better bids. But our church did that, and I want to tell you thank you for being so kind and gracious and wanting to help. We had a church that sent us unexpectedly $1,000 when we had a pipe break in the hot water heater things that were in the attic, and it flooded our whole foyer and part into the fellowship, into our sanctuary here. So there's churches that help each other, and we want to be, they may not line up exactly with us doctrinally, and but they love the Lord, they trust Christ, and they believe in salvation in Him alone, and so we want to assist them. So I want to let you know we did do that. All right, let me see. We want to pray for Wendy McClellan, Carolyn Melton, Rick and Holly Collins. They're out in Texas. They have had some job change thing, and that's affected them financially. So they want you to pray for them about that, Rick and Holly Collins. And I told them if you get in a real bind financially, you let your church family know, and we'll see what we can do to assist you. But they said, well, that's a place of last resort. And then he told me, I want you to be sure to know that's not going to affect our sending our money to and tithing to the church. Not going to affect it at all. And so they have a priority there, and we appreciate them. Irene Wright's come down with this some kind of flu bug during vacation Bible school, so she could finish out the week. Fred, of course, he's been tending to her. He doesn't want to make sure he doesn't spread it anywhere. Then their daughter, Abby Letourneau, who's pregnant, had to go in the hospital, be checked out because of the pregnancy, had a lot of problems breathing and stuff. And so, but they're all doing better, so we thank God for that. So just keep Irene Wright and Abby Letourneau in your prayers. I haven't heard if Fred has come down with it yet or not. Let me see, Barbara Keithley. Barbara Keithley, we supported Gospel Light Foundation for the Blind. We supported it for 30 years or more. I was on the board for over 30 years. I was president for about 15 or so years after Bill died. Barbara had been in the nursing home, and she had to take her to the emergency room. Then they put her in the hospital, going to keep her, do some more tests on her. She has COPD. She also has got some breathing problems on top of that, and maybe a little bit of pneumonia. They're concerned about her heart. So keep Barbara Keithley and her daughter Liliana and family, all of them, in your prayers. Let me see. Traveling Deb and David and Deb Brown are away from us. Allison Waycaster, they'll be traveling today. And then, if you would, a prayer of thanksgiving. That Debbie Cementeris, they went in and they found a heart. She had some problems. They were worried about concerns about her heart, whether she'd need. They thought probably a number of stents, but you didn't have to have any stents put in. So we thank God for that. I told her if she ate meat, it would help. Bacon grease, it'll lubricate everything. All right, so I'm trying to convince her of all that. Hadn't convinced her yet. So we're just thankful that the Lord has got her on the right path. Hope they can get her straightened out with the problems she's been having. All right, don't know of any other specials we need to mention. Anybody? Timothy? Money from the VBS? Yeah, the money from the VBS. I got it on here in the front. They took up, the kids bring in money, they bring in change. They probably hit you up for change all this week. They unfairly, and I say this truthfully, unfairly have scales here, and they put the money in that the kids bring in buckets. And the girls always beat the boys because there's more girls in there, more girls in attendance than boys. So it's unfair. All right? But the kids just love it. And they come and they participate, and they did that. And so this year they decided to send the funds to Missionary Flights International, which we support with Kevin and Cheryl's son, Kevin Jr., or KG we called him, and Kristen and the family. They collected $581.38 that they're going to send. So isn't that great? Isn't that great? And so we're looking forward to them getting that funds and being used to reach people for the Lord. All right, Fred's not here, so I'm going to read our scripture as a call to worship out of John chapter 6. John chapter 6. John chapter 6. John, the 6th chapter, I'm going to begin reading in verse 26. John 6, verse 26. They asked him in the previous verse, when did you come here? And Jesus said, most surely I say to you, you seek me not because you saw the signs, but because you ate the loaves and were filled. because he just fed thousands of people. He said, you're only here because you got your belly full. Do not labor for the food which perishes, but for the food which endures to everlasting life, which the Son of Man will give you, because God the Father has set his seal on him. Then they said to him, what shall we do that we may work the works of God? And Jesus answered and said to them, this is the work of God, that you believe in him whom he sent. Therefore they said to him, what sign will you perform then, that we may see it and believe you? Or what work will you do? Our fathers ate the man in the desert, and as it's written, he gave them bread from heaven to eat. In other words, feed us again. Show us another sign. Then Jesus said to them, most surely I say to you, Moses did not give you the bread from heaven, but my Father gives you the true bread from heaven. For the bread of God is he who comes down from heaven and gives life to the world. That's a reference to himself, because he goes on and says that. Then they said to him, Lord, give us this bread always. Give us that. If that's that bread, we want that kind of bread. And he said, I am the bread of life. He who comes to me shall never hunger. He who believes me shall never thirst. But I said to you that you have seen me, and yet you do not believe. All that the Father gives me will come to me, and the one who comes to me I will by no means cast out. For I have come down from heaven not to do my own will, but the will of him who sent me. This is the will of the Father who sent me, that of all he has given me I should lose nothing, but raise it up at the last day. This is the will of him who sent me. This is God's will. You want to do God's will? Here it is. His will is that everyone who sees the Son and believes in him may have everlasting life, and I'll raise him up at the last day. God's design is you be saved. Come to Christ. Trust in him, repent of your sins, and be born again.